Love you guys. It's the 15th. Today's goal is to drill holes through these, poke holes through here, there. Basically get that sucked back tight against that rib right here, and then basically get all that aligned so that I can basically weld this to that. I'm hoping today. That's my goal. And then was just gonna kind of screw this together, but it makes more sense to just weld it in, make it solid again. Put the floor in it again, weld it, make it solid again. However, I still want to replace this inner rocker on this side because of the metal over here, all them patches that has been done on this side as well. I just don't trust that either. And I have the other rocker for it. It's actually over here, just like that other one I took apart. This is the one I took apart, Robert and I. And but the other rocker is laying right there. And then here's the top. This is my mess. Put on top of the car to replace it, the inner structure, all that fun stuff. It's buried under my duster parts and grills and whatever. So garage is just a mess. It's just got pathways. That's a 383 I want to have rebuilt for my duster. I think those are the heads for it that you probably keep seeing here and there. But my friend Ted, he's going to help me put that one together. He's the guy that put my 340 and my 440 that's in the duster now. But anyway, that's my plan. And then what I'll do is, I think I'll just screw the floor down so that I can pull it back up so that in the future I can get to that side. And I'll do it differently than I did this side. This is a learning experience. This whole car is a learning experience. I've never done anything like this before. Excuse me, obviously. Right, Wesley? It's like, neither have I. Yeah, we're in this together if we're in it all, right? Okay, let's do this. And one more thing I almost forgot, a goal for today, which is gonna slow me down, is I need to cut this bottom piece off and make a new piece there to put on there so I have something to weld onto. Okay, now to figure out this mess. Because it just doesn't look very happy. Look what I found. Scrap piece of metal. I don't throw anything away. You want to help me make this patch? Oh, careful. Little love bug. Sometimes you're annoying though. He's like, I'm a border collie. I'm always on the go. This is what I got. Fits pretty much perfect right there. Now I'll just cut out that where the X's are, and that'll be my patch where this mark is up front right there. And then what I did was I went on the other side of the car and I traced that line right there. That's my pattern. You can't look at this piece of metal and tell me that God did not leave that from the last project I worked on. Perfect fit. I love it. Pros and cons of having a dog door, huh, Wesley? You can come and go as you want, right? It's like, no more loud noise. Let's see if Dad's okay. Thanks for checking up on me. That's better. Now to clean it up. What I'm gonna do is a method called cut and butt. Fitzy Fabrications. If you go and check this video out here, this is where he can talk in detail on how to do this. But what I'm basically going to do, I'll take this piece back off again, then I'll take a grinder and I'll clean up my surface, and then I'll put this back on, and then what I'll do is I'll take my cutting wheel and just follow that line and cut so far until this sinks into that so it's flush. And then what I'll do is stop, and then I'll take my welder, run some tack welds so that everything's flush, and then I'll cut some more, weld that, tack weld it, and then cut more and sink it in, tack weld it, and repeat the whole process till the whole thing is done. And then once everything is flush, that way there's no gaps to try to fill if my line was off. Let's say I cut on that line, now I got this big huge gap there to try to fill, and for example. But this way everything is nice and tight. And then once everything is recessed in there and tack welded in, then all you do is go on the other side and simply, or on the inside, and then you just take that piece of metal and pull it out. Well, in this case, there's a brace right here. If you see those spot welds, make sure that there is no spot weld behind this. Let's say, for example, if there was one there, I already looked, and in this case, there is not. So, because if there is, you have to take the spot weld out first before you do this method. Otherwise, this piece of metal will stay there. But in this case, I should be able to remove the whole thing. But be careful when you're doing this method, when you're welding it, make sure that on the back side that piece of metal is pulled away from what you're welding, because if it's not completely, it could weld to it, and then then you have to get it undone. It's kind of a pain in the butt. So it's a cool method. If you're a beginner, this is an awesome way to learn. That way you don't have these big gap mistakes to make and stuff like that. But this is how I learned how to weld. Hope that helps. Let's take a look at it. It ain't beautiful, but just because I got a huge grinder and a little tiny space. Oh well. There's the aftermath, the part that I cut out from behind. And this is what it looks like. Your gaps are supposed to be nice and small, and not like this over here. It's a pretty big gap over here. Of course, it's hard to get that grinder in, and it just hacked everything up. But as you can see, where you can start getting into where things are a little more accessible, everything's kind of nice and tight. I had to come up above here so I could cut down here without cutting that off. And so I got that to fill, and same with this way. I had to come over this way to cut deep enough to get the metal out. So I got a little bit of cutting there. But if you had a smaller disc and, different tool, might make it easier. Over here, this big lob, what happened here was my metal from here on over is not the best. It's still half rotted. And I need to grind this part off, but so the rust, it just kept blowing through, so I kept chasing my weld over until I found something solid to weld onto again. So that's why that is the way it is. It might blow through up here. There's a big pit right there, but so I could cut this off and just put a good piece of metal in. But this is just tack welded or along the top of my rocker over there, pinch welded, so it'll be good enough. And this ain't no 80-point restoration car or whatever. So that's how it's done. Now I can just go through and finish up filling my holes in. Everything's nice and tight for the most part. There's a little spot right here, just hammer that in. But everything else is nice and tight though, nice and flush. So that's how it's done. There it is. Nothing I'm proud of, but it's better than it was. That's all I'm shooting for. The rust, the upper panels rotted, and I blew through so many times. The only times I didn't was about right there, and it got nice even flat welds, but everything else I had to just keep going and going and going and going, and it looks like crap. But anyway, I really don't care. It's not an outer body panel, it's something on the inside, and a kick panel will go over it. No problem. It's a race car anyway. And now that that panel's made, now I have kind of a pattern to go by from here when I cut this out. Hopefully I'll have more metal this time and I can go higher and get good metal again, and do it the right way. And then I can just go past that and create a flange on the other side. I ain't perfect, but I'm having fun doing it. I did a plug weld there, got that one in. Oh yeah, there's the holes I drilled for my plug welds. That's all I have time for today. See you tomorrow. Thanks for watching. Dream big. Work hard. That was easy. Thanks for watching.